I'm Mandy from a Stitch Different community interest company, and today I'm going to be demonstrating how to make an Olsen style face covering. Obviously in today's climate we need to be using face coverings, especially when we're out on public transport, and to both protect yourself and those around you. So the one we're going to be making is the one recommended by the government, the Olsen style. So basically it's a face covering with a pocket on the back, so you can feed into there an extra filter should you need it. There are options for either going around the back of the head or just around the ears. Personally, with being a glasses wearer, I prefer them to go around the back of the head. So the pattern is going to be this one, the Olsen face covering. We'll put a link on to be able to download this pattern at the end of this tutorial. It is step by step on here, but some people prefer to have a hands-on experience, so we'll go through it and we'll point out a few little easy tips and tricks to get it done a little bit quicker. So in the pack that you can download and print off, there is a pattern. Now in the back, the mask is made up of 6 components, but effectively it's 3 pieces just doubled up. So we have a side face mask. We have there's basically on the pattern a 1 and a 2, but we can double up the fabric and we can just do that once. We have the inner mask part, which holds the filter, and then we have the outer side panel. So we'll get those cut up and we'll look at what materials we're going to need. So I have cut out pattern pieces, face 1, mouth 1 and cheek 1. There is a duplicate of this pattern, saying cheek 2, mouth 2, face 2, but there's no real need to cut that out because you can save yourself a little bit of time by doubling up. So we're using a jazzy space type print for the outer today, and I'm going to fold that, what we call face to face, so folding it outside to outside and placing that down onto the table nice and flat. We're going to get our face 1 pattern piece and place it onto the fabric which is folded over. Pin it into place and then cut round. Obviously on this particular pattern it's not like dressmaking where we need to have a certain fabric direction. It's about get it on as many pieces as you can out of your fabric. For the inner I'm using a plain white polycotton material, so it's a very nice tight weave. And again, I folded it in half and I'm placing my 2 pattern pieces. I've got cheek 1 and mouth 1. So just placing those onto your material. We will pin those into place using as many pins as you feel you need, or you could just put a weight on the top if that's easier. And then we cut those out once we're into place. So there we go. Right, I'll be back in a moment once these are cut out. So we've cut out our pattern pieces, and if we remove our pins, we will have our outer fabric and we have 2 pieces cut. So we're going to start assembling. So you could hand sew, and the idea what we're going to do now is sew along this curved line. So you could do this on a machine or you could do it by hand, whichever you have access to. Nice tight stitch. I'm going to be using a contrast stitch here, so in a bright orange, so you can see where we actually need to be sewing. So it's just about 5mm away from the outer edge of the fabric. Do a reinforcing stitch at the end so that it's not going to be coming undone, so make sure you either knot it or do a reinforcement stitch at the very end. So I'll just trim our threads off. Then we have our mouthpiece, do that next, and again we have, because we folded it over, we have 2 pieces. So what we're going to do is line them up. You could pop a pin in there should you need a little bit of extra stability, and then again we're going to sew the exact same curve line. Again, starting off, sewing down. Quite a noisy sewing machine this, I'm afraid, but hopefully it's nice and quick. So again, just trimming off our edges, and we have a sewn seam around there. Then we open that up and we're going to fold it over there on the outer edges facing in. I'm going to just pop a pin in there and repeat that on the other side, fold it over. Well, about 5 mil again, just on that inside edge, and pop a pin in. I'm going to pinch that pin from there. Okay, and then what we're going to do before we sew, I'd recommend sort of press that, iron that flat, and then we're going to sew down that edge and that edge. Before I take that away to do that, I'm going to get our cheek pieces. Again, because we folded it over, we have 2 pieces. So again, what I'm going to do is going to lay that flat, fold it over about 5 mil. I'm going to press that outer edge there, but for now, while I'm waiting to get that iron warmed up, I'm just going to pop a pin in just to sort of give me an idea where it's going to be. And same there with this other side, I'm just going to fold it over. So we've got 4 little flaps to press and then sew. I'll be back when I've pressed those. So we have our assembled pieces so far. We have our front face covering. We have our inner filter holder. So it's got a seam around that side and your folded sections like so. So it's time to assemble. So basically the easiest way I've found after practicing these is to put one on top of the other like so. Tilt that in. You can press that. I've just given that a light steam while I've been pressing the other bits. And what I tend to do is feed that in, get the seam lined up at the top there, press one way, one the other, pop a pin in, go down to the bottom, keeping that the same way. So feed one side, feed the other. And because these are all from the same pattern, they're all nicely lined up, we know that. We've taken our time to get that right. So we're just holding that into position there. Okay, so that's like so. And then we get our inner pieces. We have 2 there. So we're going to sit one on top so it overlaps. And it just goes in so, like that, lining it up at the back there. Okay. And just, you can put as many pins in as you feel you need, because I do quite a bit of sewing. I know that that will do me for what I need at this minute. And on this other side, we're doing again. So again, all these seams where you folded them in, this white side, all the seams are facing up, so that when you turn it the other way around, everything will be nice and tidy. So once we've got everything pinned into place, we're going to sew along the top and just along the bottom, leaving a gap at either end. I'll sew this and I'll be back with you in 2 ticks. Yeah. So we've sewn along the 2 outer edges, and then it's time to turn it the other way around. And if you hear a little whine, it's actually Molly, one of my colleagues, there she goes, who is helping me film today. Diane, who runs her own little business, who, if you really can't be bothered making these, Diane is a dab hand at making face coverings, and pop over to the Miss Molly Facebook page, and if you need a face covering, I'm sure she would help you out if you didn't want to have a go at making them yourself. So there we go, we have turned our mask the right way around, so we have the outer, we have the inner, and there's our pocket that goes all the way through there, so you could put a filter into there should you wish. So basically now what we're going to do is press this, and then right. So I've just pressed the edges there so it's nice and flat, and then I've folded over this outer edge here on the head there and doubling it over, so it leaves a channel about 1 centimetre there, and you can pop a pin in if you wish. And what we're going to do is just sew along this edge here and then repeat it on the bottom there. So I'll just whiz this through the machine. And the other, I'm actually removing that pin because I don't want to sew over it. much completed mask now. So just trimming off any extra threads. And nice and tidy. And there we have our mask. Final piece is to put our elastic through. So there's two ways you can do it. If you have a fancy little tool like this pulls them through. But if you haven't got one of those, an ordinary little safety pin will do the job. So just thread it through your elastic. Okay. This is a 4mm elastic that I'm using on here. So you could use whatever you've got to hand really. As I said before, I prefer the mask to go around the back of the head. A little bit trickier to get on, but once it's on, it's a lot more comfortable if you're wearing it for quite a long time. So we've threaded through one side and we're coming down the other. That's right there. And there we go. Oh, little Molly's decided that she wants to give us a little hello. We'll show her at the end of the video. So I'm just going to tie a knot at the end there. So this elastic measures around about 16 inches. So I'm just going to pull that nice and tight, trim off the excess. There it goes. And then I'm going to pull that round so that it sits inside the channel in there. Okay. And there we go. We're going to even out that elastic. That's right. And there we have our completed mask ready to go. And if you want to put a filter in, pop one in. If you do decide to make one of these up, I would love to see the pictures and love to know what you think of this tutorial. It's the first one we've ever done, so it's new to me, doing all this video malarkey. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I'd appreciate any feedback. Thank you.